Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, someone else always seems one step ahead? That unsettling moment when you see others moving faster, thinking sharper, achieving more, while you're left wondering what secret they know that you don't. Deep down, you sense that you're capable of more, that your mind holds untapped power, yet something invisible keeps holding you back. It's not because you lack intelligence, it's not because you weren't born with talent, it's because the world rewards those who learn how to think differently, not just those who think harder. And that difference can mean the gap between watching life pass you by and finally stepping into the life you've always imagined. You've been told that success is about working longer hours, sacrificing more sleep, or constantly grinding until exhaustion. But the truth is, most people who live that way stay stuck in the same cycle. They burn out, and in the end, they are no further ahead. What really sets people apart is the ability to outsmart, not outwork. The most successful people you admire are not always the strongest, the richest, or the most gifted. They simply know keys that others overlook. They see patterns where others see chaos. They make decisions with clarity when others drown in doubt. They use wisdom to multiply their efforts, while everyone else wastes energy chasing distractions. And here's the good news. Those keys are not reserved for a chosen few. They are available to you right now if you're ready to listen and apply them. Think about this. Every challenge you face, every fear you wrestle with, every dream you hold close could look completely different once you have the right tools. Imagine walking into a room and knowing exactly how to stand out. Imagine facing a problem and seeing solutions others can't even recognize. Imagine building a life where opportunities find you because of the way you think, the way you act, the way you carry yourself. That power does not come from luck. It comes from wisdom. And wisdom begins when you decide to stop living on autopilot and start choosing to think in ways that elevate you above the noise. This is why you must stay with me until the very end, because ahead we are going to uncover 9 insightful keys that can transform how you move through life. These are not cliches or shallow phrases that fade as soon as the video ends. These are battle-tested truths drawn from psychology, from experience, and from timeless wisdom. They are the very principles that allow ordinary people to rise above the crowd and become extraordinary. Each one has the power to shift your perspective, sharpen your decisions, and create the kind of results that others will call impossible until they see you achieve them. So I ask you, are you willing to rise? Are you willing to open your mind, break old patterns, and embrace the possibility that you can become sharper, stronger, and wiser than you've ever been before? If you are, then stay, lean in, because what you're about to discover may very well be the difference between staying stuck where you are and stepping into a version of yourself that no one, not even you, has seen yet. This is your chance. Don't let it slip away. Greatness doesn't come from knowing more facts than others. It comes from mastering how to use your mind in ways most people never learn. The first shift begins with awareness, training yourself to see what others ignore. Most people live reacting to life, letting circumstances dictate how they think and feel. They wake up and scroll through their phones, absorbing noise, opinions, and negativity before their own thoughts have even formed. They let the world program their minds. But if you want to outsmart, you must reverse that pattern. You must become the one who chooses what enters your mind, the one who shapes your own inner dialogue instead of allowing the outside world to do it for you. The person who masters awareness can see through distractions, and when you see through distractions, you naturally move ahead of those who waste their energy on things that don't matter. This isn't about being perfect or pretending you don't have doubts. It's about realizing that every thought you allow has power. Negative thoughts multiply faster than you can imagine, and they shape your choices without you even noticing. But when you decide to become the guardian of your own mind, you stop being controlled by fear and comparison. You start noticing how much of your day is spent on autopilot. You notice when emotions try to hijack your clarity, And with awareness, you gain the ability to pause, to choose, to redirect your energy toward what actually builds your future. That simple act of noticing, of paying attention to what is happening inside you, is the first step to mental freedom. And mental freedom is the foundation of outsmarting everyone else. Think of how many people you know who drift through life without questioning their habits. They do what everyone else does. They think what everyone else thinks. They follow trends without asking whether those trends bring them closer to their goals. They may be busy, but they are not moving forward. And then there are those rare individuals who stop and observe. They see through the noise. They notice patterns in themselves and others. They recognize that life isn't random. It's a series of cause and effect. Those people become the ones others look up to because they carry a sense of clarity that feels almost magnetic. That clarity is not luck. It's the reward of awareness. It's the result of choosing to live consciously instead of blindly. And here's the truth that should shake you awake. Awareness is not passive. It requires courage. It means being honest with yourself about where you are wasting time, where you are sabotaging your own growth, where you are living below your potential. It means facing truths you may have avoided because they were uncomfortable. But the moment you stop running from those truths is the moment you gain the power to change them. Self-deception is what keeps most people trapped. Awareness is what sets the uncommon ones free. So ask yourself, are you willing to open your eyes fully? Are you willing to catch yourself in the moments when old patterns pull you down? Are you ready to train your mind to notice, to question, to choose differently? Because once you do, you begin to rise above the average. You stop blending into the crowd and you start leading yourself to a higher level. And when you rise like that, others will wonder what secret you discovered. But it won't be a secret at all. It will simply be awareness, your first step in learning how to outsmart the rest of the world. Awareness gives you vision, but vision without discipline fades into nothing. The true advantage begins when you learn to direct your focus with relentless control. Most people scatter their energy across too many things, giving small pieces of themselves to distractions, obligations, and temptations that never return value. They confuse movement with progress, staying busy while their goals remain untouched. But the rare individual who learns to concentrate their attention on what truly matters gains an edge that feels almost unfair. Focus is the force that turns intention into results. Focus is the invisible weapon that separates those who wish from those who win. Think about how the human brain works. It craves novelty. It seeks stimulation. That's why people scroll endlessly, jump from task to task, and chase short bursts of pleasure instead of building long-term success. But psychology shows us that the brain can be trained. Neuroplasticity proves that whatever you repeat becomes stronger. When you choose to focus deeply, you are literally rewiring your mind to sustain clarity. The more you practice, the sharper it gets. And while others are trapped in distraction, you will be strengthening the muscle of undivided attention. That is how breakthroughs happen. Not through luck, not through talent alone, but through the ability to harness the full power of your mind toward one clear objective. Consider this: every dream you carry will demand your focus as its currency. If you want to master a skill, build a business, transform your body, or elevate your life, you must be willing to cut through noise and narrow your energy onto the few things that matter most. That decision is uncomfortable because it means saying no. It means turning down distractions, refusing shortcuts, and resisting the easy paths that steal your momentum. But in those moments of resistance, you rise above the average. You separate yourself from the masses who cannot endure boredom, who cannot handle stillness, who cannot sustain effort when it's not immediately rewarded. Mastering focus means you hold the power to go further than they ever will. And here lies the truth. Few admit distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't strike with drama. It doesn't announce itself. It steals minutes and hours and years until you look back and realize potential was lost not because you weren't capable, but because you weren't focused. Every time you give in to distraction, you weaken the belief that you can control yourself. Every time you protect your focus, you strengthen the belief that you can build anything. Focus is not just about productivity. It's about identity. It's about proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who can hold a vision in your mind and protect it until it becomes real. So ask yourself right now, what have you been giving your focus to that doesn't deserve it? What goals have you set aside because the noise of the world kept pulling you away? What would your life look like if, for the next year, you directed your full attention toward the things that actually matter? That question is not abstract, it's real, and the answer could transform your future. Because the moment you take back control of your focus, you take back control of your destiny. Others will continue scattering themselves thin, running in circles, mistaking distraction for life, but you will rise above and you will outsmart them all. Focus sharpens your vision, but courage is what allows you to act on it. Many people know what they want, yet they hesitate, trapped in fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of stepping outside the safety of what is familiar. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect approval. But perfection never comes, and so they stay frozen while life moves forward without them. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who rise lies in a single decision, the decision to act in spite of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of fear. It is choosing movement when every voice in your head tells you to stay still. It is daring to be seen when hiding feels safer. It is saying yes to your future, even when your past whispers that you are not enough. Psychology teaches us that the brain is wired to protect us from risk. Fear is a survival mechanism, a way to keep us safe from harm. But in modern life, fear often misfires. It keeps us away not from danger but from opportunity. It convinces us that discomfort is a threat, when in reality discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Every time you choose to step into discomfort, your brain rewires. You build evidence that you can handle more than you thought. You expand your limits, you stretch your potential, and you create a new standard for what is possible. Courage compounds. Each brave act builds the foundation for the next. Soon what once terrified you becomes routine. And that is how transformation takes place, not in a single leap, but in repeated acts of courage that accumulate into greatness. Think of the people you admire most. They are not admired because they played it safe. They are admired because they dared to risk, to step into uncertainty, to pursue a path others doubted. They did not wait until they were fearless. They moved while fear still lived in their chest, and by moving, they weakened fear's hold. The same power lies within you. You have within you the capacity to act boldly, to stand tall even when your knees shake, to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain. That is the kind of courage that outsmarts everyone else, because most people will never find the strength to rise above their fear. But courage is not only about dramatic leaps, it is also about the quiet choices you make daily. The courage to say no to what drains you, the courage to admit when you need to grow, the courage to speak up when silence would be easier, the courage to believe in your own worth even when the world doubts it. These are the moments that shape your destiny. They may feel small, but they are the seeds of transformation. Every courageous choice is a declaration of who you are becoming. So ask yourself now, where has fear been holding you back? What opportunities have you let slip because you were waiting to feel ready? What dreams have you delayed because you thought courage belonged to someone stronger than you? The truth is, courage is already inside you. It doesn't come later. It doesn't arrive after the fear is gone. It begins the moment you decide to move anyway. And once you do, you will discover a power within yourself that outshines hesitation, outlasts doubt, and outsmarts every obstacle in your way. Courage opens the door, but discipline is what keeps you walking through it. Without discipline, even the boldest vision dissolves into scattered effort. Most people confuse motivation with discipline. They wait until they feel inspired, until conditions feel right, until energy magically appears. But motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls like the weather. Discipline is different. Discipline is the decision to show up regardless of how you feel. It is the commitment to consistency, even when excitement has faded. It is the strength to repeat actions long enough for results to emerge. That is why discipline is the ultimate form of freedom. It frees you from being a slave to moods, and it makes progress inevitable. Your brain is built to conserve energy. Left unchecked, it will always choose comfort over challenge, instant gratification over long-term reward. Discipline is the tool that rewires this pattern. Each time you resist the easy path and choose the harder one, you reinforce a new identity, the identity of someone who follows through. That identity becomes stronger with repetition. Neuroscience shows us that habits carve pathways in the brain, making certain actions automatic. When discipline becomes your habit, effort feels natural. Progress becomes the default. You no longer need to battle yourself every day. You simply act because it is who you are. Think of how most people live. They start strong and fade quickly. They set goals but abandon them as soon as the first obstacle appears. They rely on bursts of motivation, and when that spark burns out, they stop. This cycle keeps them stuck, frustrated, and ordinary. But those who cultivate discipline move differently. They keep showing up when others quit. They endure boredom, fatigue, and resistance. They work in silence, building strength behind the scenes, until one day results speak louder than excuses ever could. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is unstoppable, and those who master it become unshakable. Discipline also teaches you to trust yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you build confidence. You prove that your words carry weight, that you can rely on your own commitment. Confidence is not born from compliments or external validation. It is born from self-respect. And self-respect grows when your actions align with your intentions. When you become disciplined, you stop doubting whether you can follow through. You already know you will. That certainty gives you an edge that most people never experience, because they are still battling the chaos of inconsistency. And here's the truth. Discipline does not limit your freedom. It expands it. The person without discipline is controlled by impulses, by laziness, by distraction. They may feel free in the moment, but over time they become trapped by regret and unfulfilled potential. The person with discipline, on the other hand, creates freedom through structure. They have the freedom to choose their future because they have built the habits that lead them there. They can trust the process, knowing that every day, every choice, every action is moving them closer to what they desire most. So ask yourself, where have you been waiting for motivation when what you truly need is discipline? What habits must you build? What actions must you repeat until consistency becomes your nature? The life you dream of will not come from bursts of energy or fleeting excitement. It will come from steady, disciplined effort that compounds into transformation. And once you embrace that truth, nothing can stop you. Because discipline is the power to outlast, outwork, and outsmart everyone who lacks it. Discipline shapes your actions, but clarity shapes your direction. Without clarity, effort is scattered, energy is wasted, and progress feels like running in circles. So many people work tirelessly, yet they move without purpose. They chase goals they don't truly understand, influenced by what others want, by trends, by expectations that don't belong to them. They wake up years later realizing they climbed a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. Clarity is the antidote to this trap. It is the ability to know what you want, why you want it, and how it aligns with who you are becoming. When you have clarity, every action has meaning. Every step moves you closer to something that actually matters. The human mind is powerful, but it is also vulnerable to noise. Studies in psychology reveal that decision fatigue weakens willpower. The more choices you face without direction, the less effective you become. That's why clarity is more than inspiration. It is a tool that protects your energy. It simplifies decisions, filters distractions, and keeps you aligned with what matters most. When you are clear, you don't waste time comparing yourself to others. You don't crumble under doubt because you already know the path you've chosen. While others scatter themselves thin, you move with precision, and precision is what multiplies results. Clarity also brings a deeper kind of peace. When you know your priorities, you no longer feel pulled in 1,000 directions. You no longer carry the weight of trying to be everything for everyone. Instead, you operate from a center of strength. This does not mean the journey becomes easy. It means the journey becomes intentional. Every sacrifice, every discipline, every risk feels purposeful, because you know it serves a vision worth pursuing. Clarity transforms struggle into progress and effort into fulfillment. Without it, even success feels hollow. With it, even setbacks feel like steps forward. Most people avoid clarity because it demands honesty. To be clear about what you want, you must first admit what you don't want. You must acknowledge what no longer serves you, what drains you, what keeps you small. That honesty can be uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. When you strip away illusions, you free yourself from living someone else's life. You stop moving blindly and start living with deliberate intent. That is why clarity is rare, because it requires courage, reflection, and the willingness to let go of what no longer fits. But once you claim it, your life gains a power and focus that others cannot understand. So pause and ask yourself, what do you truly want? Not what others expect of you, not what looks impressive, not what feels safe. What ignites you? What vision pulls you forward even when the path is difficult? Write it in your mind with such sharpness that no distraction can blur it. Let it become the compass that directs your discipline, the fire that fuels your courage, the lens that sharpens your focus. Because when clarity lives within you, no amount of noise, no storm of doubt, no weight of obstacles can shake you off course. And while others wander lost in confusion, you will rise above, moving with certainty and outsmarting them all. Clarity gives direction, but adaptability ensures survival. The world will not always bend to your plans. Circumstances shift, obstacles appear, and paths you thought were certain may collapse without warning. Most people crumble when change arrives. They cling to rigid plans, resist reality, and waste energy wishing things were different. But those who outsmart others know a deeper truth. Adaptability is strength. It is the ability to adjust without losing momentum, to bend without breaking, to turn challenges into opportunities others overlook. Adaptability is not weakness, it is intelligence in motion. Psychology shows us that the human mind is wired with cognitive biases that resist change. We prefer the familiar because it feels safe, even when it no longer serves us. This is why so many stay stuck in old routines, outdated beliefs, and broken systems. But adaptability means breaking free from that trap. It is the willingness to unlearn, to question, to evolve. It is the power to shift your strategy while never losing sight of your vision. Those who adapt become unstoppable because they are never cornered. They always find another way. They are never trapped by circumstances because they can transform circumstances into fuel. Think about the difference between a brittle branch and a strong tree. The brittle branch snaps in the storm. The strong tree bends, sways, and absorbs the force of the wind and stands upright again. That is adaptability. Life will test you with storms, financial challenges, personal setbacks, sudden changes you never expected. You cannot control when the storm arrives, but you can control whether you break or bend. The adaptable mind survives the storm and often discovers new ground on the other side. The rigid mind collapses under pressure and remains stuck in fragments of what once was. Adaptability also sharpens your creativity. When you stop insisting that things must go one way, you open yourself to see countless possibilities. Where others see walls, you see doors. Where others see endings, you see beginnings. Research shows that flexible thinkers solve problems faster, recover from failure quicker, and experience less stress. Their secret is not that life is easier for them. It's that they learned how to dance with change instead of fighting it. That dance is what allows them to outsmart those who are too stubborn, too afraid, or too rigid to move differently. But adaptability does not mean abandoning discipline or clarity. It means holding your vision steady while being flexible with your methods. The mountain peak remains the same, but you're willing to change your path when one trail is blocked. This balance of focus and flexibility is rare, which is why it is powerful. Most people are either too rigid, clinging to one way of doing things, or too scattered, shifting constantly without direction. The uncommon ones blend both. They adapt their actions while keeping their purpose firm. Ask yourself now, where in your life have you resisted change? Where have you allowed stubbornness or fear to keep you from adjusting? What doors could open if you allowed yourself to be more flexible, more curious, more willing to try a new approach? The future does not belong to the strongest or even the smartest. It belongs to those who adapt the fastest. If you can hold your vision while shifting your methods, if you can stay grounded while moving with change, nothing can pin you down. While others get left behind, you will rise above, resilient, fluid, and always ahead. Adaptability keeps you moving, but resilience keeps you standing when life tries to knock you down. Everyone encounters setbacks. Everyone faces rejection, loss, and failure. What separates those who rise from those who crumble is not the absence of hardship. It is the decision to endure, to get back up, to refuse to let pain define the end of the story. Resilience is not about pretending challenges don't hurt. It's about choosing strength in the face of struggle. It's about using pain as a teacher instead of a prison. And it is one of the most powerful keys to outsmarting the world, because most people give up too early, surrendering just before the breakthrough was about to arrive. Research in psychology shows that resilient people recover faster from stress. They don't escape adversity, they reinterpret it. They see obstacles as opportunities to grow skills, sharpen perspective, and build character. This mental reframing is what transforms suffering into fuel. When others are crushed by circumstances, the resilient find meaning inside the hardship. They understand that pain is not permanent, but growth from pain can be. Every challenge becomes a training ground. Every setback becomes a hidden lesson. And through that process, they become stronger than before. Resilience also changes your relationship with failure. Most people fear failure as proof of weakness. They treat it as final, but resilient minds see failure as feedback. They understand that every mistake carries data, every stumble carries insight, every disappointment carries wisdom that cannot be gained in comfort. Failure is not the end, it is a forge. It burns away illusions and sharpens the core of who you are. Without failure, you cannot build resilience. Without resilience, you cannot sustain success. They are inseparable, and those who embrace this truth move forward when others retreat. But resilience is not only about endurance, it is also about hope. The strength to get back up comes from believing that tomorrow can be better than today. Hope is the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. When you hold on to hope, you protect your spirit from despair. Hope does not deny reality. It empowers you to face it without losing faith in what's possible. It fuels the courage to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. And that refusal to quit is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Ask yourself, how many times have you stopped just short of what you truly wanted because the weight of struggle felt too heavy? How many opportunities have you let slip away because you mistook difficulty for defeat? The truth is, resilience lives inside you already. Every time you've survived pain, every time you've pushed through doubt, every time you've risen after being knocked down, you were practicing resilience. The key now is to recognize it, to cultivate it, and to let it become your strength instead of something you only use when forced. The world does not reward the ones who never fall. It rewards the ones who refuse to stay down. Pain will test you, failure will visit you, hardship will shape you, but none of these are stronger than your will to rise. And when you embody resilience, you gain a force that outlasts obstacles, outshines defeat, and outsmarts everyone who quit too soon. Resilience gives you the strength to rise again, but wisdom teaches you how to rise higher. Life is not just about enduring, it is about learning. Every experience you face, every mistake you make, every success you achieve carries information. Most people rush through life without pausing to reflect, repeating the same errors because they never extract the lessons hidden inside their struggles. But wisdom is born from reflection. It is the ability to step back to see patterns, to connect dots others overlook. Wisdom allows you to make better choices, faster progress, and fewer regrets. And when you combine resilience with wisdom, you don't just survive challenges, you turn them into strategies that propel you forward. Psychology shows that the human brain thrives on pattern recognition. It constantly seeks connections to make sense of the world. But wisdom takes that natural ability and elevates it. It transforms raw experience into guidance. Where others see random chaos, the wise see cause and effect. They notice how thoughts shape actions, how actions create results, how results shape character. They do not waste pain by ignoring it. They harvest insight from it, and that insight becomes their competitive advantage. The difference between repeating failure and building success is whether you stop to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Wisdom also protects you from one of the most dangerous traps, reactivity. Most people act from emotion without pause. They are controlled by anger, fear, or impulse, making choices they regret later. Wisdom slows the process. It gives you the space to respond instead of react. It allows you to see beyond the moment and measure the long-term cost of short-term decisions. This single shift in thinking elevates you above the majority, because while others sabotage themselves through impulsive choices, you will be shaping a future that reflects patience, clarity, and foresight. Another gift of wisdom is perspective. When you learn to see life through a wider lens, setbacks feel smaller, struggles feel temporary, and victories feel meaningful. Perspective is what allows you to endure storms without being crushed by them. It is what keeps you steady when circumstances try to blind you with panic or doubt. The wise person understands that no single event defines the whole story. Every loss can teach, every win can humble, every moment contributes to growth. With perspective, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start recognizing yourself as the author of your response. That mindset is rare, and that rarity makes it powerful. But wisdom does not appear automatically with age or experience. It must be sought, it must be practiced. It requires humility to admit you don't know everything, openness to learn from others, and honesty to confront your own blind spots. Many people miss wisdom because their pride blocks them from reflection. They repeat the same cycles because they refuse to pause, to listen, to question. But the ones who pursue wisdom intentionally unlock a resource that compounds with time. Every lesson becomes a stepping stone. Every reflection becomes a map. With wisdom, the future becomes clearer, and your ability to outsmart others becomes undeniable. So ask yourself now, are you learning from your experiences or just enduring them? Are you repeating mistakes or extracting wisdom from them? Each day offers lessons, but only those who pay attention receive them. And when you live with wisdom, your decisions sharpen, your confidence grows, and your journey accelerates. Others may have strength, talent, or luck, but wisdom will always set you apart, because wisdom is the key that turns life's challenges into the very strategies that make you unstoppable. Wisdom guides your decisions, but emotional mastery determines how you carry them out. Intelligence and strategy mean little if your emotions control you. Anger can destroy opportunities in seconds. Fear can paralyze action before it begins. Envy can poison your focus and steal your peace. Most people allow emotions to dictate their lives without even realizing it. They lash out when frustrated, retreat when anxious, or give up when discouraged. But those who learn to master their emotions gain an edge that feels almost untouchable. They remain steady in chaos, calm under pressure, and clear when others are clouded by impulse. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings. It is about directing them with intention. Psychology proves that emotions are powerful drivers of behavior. Decisions are rarely made with pure logic. They are shaped by how we feel in the moment. This is why people overspend when stressed, quit when overwhelmed, or chase temporary pleasures instead of long-term goals. But emotional mastery interrupts that cycle. It trains you to pause, to recognize what you feel, to understand its source, and then to choose how you respond. This practice rewires your brain, shifting you from being reactive to being intentional. And once you master that shift, you no longer become a prisoner of temporary moods. You become the architect of your responses, and with that, the architect of your destiny. The ability to regulate emotion also strengthens resilience. When you face setbacks, emotional mastery allows you to process disappointment without drowning in it. When fear rises, it gives you the strength to act anyway. When anger sparks, it helps you channel that energy into productive fuel rather than destructive fire. Those who lack this control waste years undoing damage caused by unchecked emotions. But those who master it move forward faster, leaving chaos behind them. This single skill creates stability that others will admire, because in a world ruled by reaction, calmness is power. Emotional mastery is also the foundation of influence. People naturally trust and follow those who remain composed under stress. They are drawn to those who radiate calm confidence instead of volatile energy. When you control your emotions, you project strength without speaking a word, and that strength commands respect. It allows you to lead, to inspire, and to navigate conflict with grace. Influence is not about loudness, it is about steadiness. Those who remain centered hold the quiet authority that makes others listen. Emotional mastery does not come from avoidance. It requires confronting your emotions honestly. It means acknowledging fear instead of denying it, admitting anger instead of hiding it, facing sadness instead of numbing it. You cannot master what you refuse to face. The process of observing your emotions without being consumed by them is uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. Each time you choose awareness over impulse, you strengthen control. Each time you pause before reacting, you reclaim power. And each time you use emotion as a tool rather than a weapon, you rise above the crowd who still let feelings dictate their fate. So ask yourself how much of your life has been shaped by unguarded emotions. How many opportunities slipped away because anger or fear made the choice for you? And how different could your future look if you trained yourself to stay steady when others lose control? That power is already inside you. It is waiting to be claimed. Emotional mastery is not about becoming emotionless, it is about becoming unstoppable. And once you embody it, you will carry a presence that outlasts fear, outshines chaos, and outsmarts everyone still living as a slave to their impulses. Emotional mastery gives you control over yourself, but influence multiplies your impact beyond yourself. The greatest power is not only in shaping your own path, but in shaping the environment around you. People who know how to influence others move further, faster, because they are not walking alone. They inspire support, attract opportunities, and create networks that amplify their vision. Influence is not manipulation, it is alignment. It is the ability to connect deeply with others, to understand their needs, their fears, their desires, and to guide them toward a greater possibility. Those who lack influence remain isolated, relying only on their own effort. But those who cultivate it can turn a single idea into a movement, a single step into a journey others want to join. Psychology shows us that human beings are wired for connection. We mirror the emotions, energy, and behaviors of those around us. This means your presence is contagious. If you carry negativity, people feel it. If you radiate conviction, people trust it. Influence begins with the energy you project. It is not about titles, money, or status. It is about the state of mind you embody and the way it resonates with others. When you master yourself, you naturally influence others, because people are drawn to clarity, confidence, and calmness in a world filled with confusion and noise. True influence also comes from listening. Most people talk to be heard, but those who outsmart the crowd listen to understand. When you listen with full presence, you give others the rare gift of being seen. And when people feel seen, they trust you. Trust is the foundation of influence. It cannot be faked. It is built through consistency, through empathy, through showing that you value people not just for what they can give you, but for who they are. Once trust is built, influence becomes natural. Words carry more weight. Ideas spread faster. Opportunities flow toward you because people want to align with your vision. Influence is also about lifting others. The insecure try to control people for their own gain. The wise influence people by empowering them. They help others see possibilities in themselves they could not see before. They ignite courage where there was fear, clarity where there was confusion, hope where there was despair. This kind of influence leaves a lasting mark because it transforms people from the inside. And when you help others rise, your own rise is multiplied. You become the person people want to follow, not because they have to, but because they are inspired to. But influence requires responsibility. It demands integrity. Without alignment between your words and actions, your influence will eventually collapse. People follow authenticity, not performance. They follow those who live their values, not those who just speak them. This is why influence is not given freely, it is earned. It is the result of consistent character, of showing up the same way whether eyes are on you or not. Influence lasts when it is rooted in truth. So ask yourself, what energy are you bringing into the lives of others? Are you leaving people better than you found them, or are you draining them without realizing it? Do your words inspire action, or do they fall empty because they lack alignment? Your influence is already shaping the world around you. Whether you are aware of it or not, the question is whether you will choose to wield it with intention, strength, and purpose. Because once you master influence, you no longer move alone. You carry others with you. And together, that kind of power can outlast obstacles, outshine competition, and outsmart every limitation in your way. Influence expands your reach, but patience determines how far you can truly go. In a world obsessed with speed, patience is the rare trait that creates lasting success. Most people want everything now. Instant results, immediate recognition, quick rewards. But impatience destroys progress. It makes people quit before results appear, abandon paths that were working, and chase shortcuts that lead to nowhere. Patience, however, is the power to hold steady when results are invisible, to keep building when no one is watching, to trust the process even when progress feels painfully slow. Those who master patience are the ones who eventually outsmart everyone else because they understand that true transformation takes time, and time rewards the disciplined. Science shows us that the brain is wired for instant gratification. Small rewards light up dopamine pathways and make us crave more. This is why distractions feel so tempting, why giving up feels easier than persisting. But patience rewires those pathways. Each time you delay gratification, you strengthen the part of your mind that chooses long-term vision over short-term comfort. This is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. Patience is training your mind to endure discomfort now for a future that is greater than anything you could grab in the moment. And that endurance builds resilience, consistency, and unshakable confidence in your own ability to outlast the rest. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active persistence. It means continuing to take steps every day, even when the results are too small to see. It means planting seeds and trusting that growth is happening beneath the surface, even when the soil looks unchanged. Most people abandon their goals in this hidden phase, mistaking silence for failure. But those with patience understand that silence is part of the process. Progress is invisible before it becomes undeniable. The greatest breakthroughs are often preceded by long seasons of quiet persistence, and when the results finally emerge, the world calls it sudden success, even though it was built patiently over time. Patience also protects you from emotional sabotage. When you lack patience, fear convinces you that delays mean defeat. Envy whispers that others are moving faster, so you must not be good enough. Frustration tells you that the work is pointless. But patience silences those voices. It reminds you that your timeline is your own, that the race is not against others but against your own limits. Patience allows you to move with calm confidence while others burn out chasing speed. And in the end, patience always outlasts haste. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you quit too early? How many opportunities have slipped because you could not endure the season of waiting? How much stronger would you be if you had trusted the process instead of abandoning it at the first sign of difficulty? The truth is, patience is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you cultivate. It is a choice you make daily, a discipline you strengthen with practice. And once it becomes part of you, you gain a weapon most people will never carry. Patience may not look powerful in the moment, but over time it becomes unstoppable. It allows you to outlast those who rush, to outwork those who quit, to outshine those who burn out. And when patience combines with clarity, discipline, and resilience, it creates a force that nothing can defeat. The impatient will always look back and regret. But you, if you choose patience, you will rise above, proving that slow, steady, unshakable persistence outsmarts them all. Patience gives you endurance, but adaptability gives you survival. The world is in constant motion, shifting faster than ever before. New challenges appear, old systems collapse, and the unexpected becomes the new normal. Those who refuse to adapt cling to what was, and in doing so, they get left behind. Those who embrace adaptability thrive because they can pivot, adjust, and transform themselves in response to change. Adaptability is not weakness, it is strength in its purest form. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to shift without losing direction, to evolve without losing identity. The most powerful people are not the ones who hold rigidly to the past, but the ones who stay flexible enough to shape the future. Psychology confirms that adaptability is a core element of intelligence. It is not just about what you know, it is about how quickly you can adjust when what you know is no longer enough. Life constantly tests this. Plans fail, markets shift, relationships change, and conditions you thought were stable suddenly collapse. Most people resist these changes. They fight to keep the old reality alive, wasting energy on denial instead of focusing on what could be built next. But adaptability allows you to redirect that energy towards solutions. It shifts your mindset from "why is this happening to me?" to "how can I use this to grow?" That single shift changes everything because it moves you from victimhood into power. Adaptability also unlocks creativity. When you are willing to see things differently, new possibilities appear. You stop being trapped by one path and begin to see many. Where others see dead ends, you see detours. Where others feel loss, you see opportunity. This mindset creates innovation, resilience, and problem-solving ability that makes you invaluable in any situation. People who adapt become leaders in uncertain times because they bring clarity where others only bring complaints. They move forward while others stay stuck, and that momentum sets them apart. But adaptability requires humility. You cannot adapt if you are too proud to admit that what worked yesterday may not work today. You cannot pivot if you are too attached to your ego, too afraid to look foolish, too resistant to starting over. The strongest people are not the ones who pretend to always be right. They are the ones willing to adjust, to learn, to reimagine themselves again and again. And with each adaptation, they grow stronger, sharper, more unstoppable than before. Change does not weaken them, it forges them. Ask yourself, how many times have you resisted change because it felt uncomfortable? How often have you clung to something that was no longer serving you simply because it was familiar? What if the very thing you are resisting is the doorway to your next breakthrough? The truth is, adaptability is not about losing who you are. It is about becoming who you were always meant to be, no matter what life throws at you. It is about carrying your vision through storms without letting the storms destroy you. Adaptability is survival, but more than that, it is advantage. It allows you to outlast the rigid, outmaneuver the stubborn, and outsmart the ones too afraid to evolve. While others break under the pressure of change, you can bend, adjust, and rise even stronger. And when you master adaptability, no obstacle can hold you down for long, because no matter what shifts around you, you will always find a way to keep moving forward. Adaptability equips you to face change, but focus gives you the power to cut through the noise and move with precision. In a world full of distractions, the ability to direct your attention toward what truly matters is a rare and priceless skill. Most people scatter their energy in 1,000 directions. They start many things but finish few. They allow their attention to be stolen by notifications, entertainment, and endless comparison. And then they wonder why their life feels fragmented, why progress feels slow, why fulfillment feels out of reach. The truth is simple: what you focus on grows. If your focus is divided, so is your growth. But if your focus is sharp, your progress becomes unstoppable. Psychology shows us that attention is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Yet most people let their attention weaken through constant switching, chasing every impulse, surrendering to every distraction. This habit fractures the mind, making even simple goals feel impossible. But those who master focus train their attention like an athlete trains their body. They choose deliberately what to give energy to, and they protect that energy fiercely. This discipline compounds. Each day of focused effort builds upon the last, creating momentum that no scattered mind can compete with. Focus is not just about doing more, it is about doing what matters most, consistently and deeply. Focus also builds confidence. When you give your best to one thing, you begin to see results, and those results fuel belief. You stop doubting yourself because your progress becomes undeniable. This confidence is magnetic. It inspires others, it attracts opportunities, and it strengthens your resilience when challenges arise. Without focus, self-doubt grows because scattered effort rarely produces visible results. But with focus, every step compounds, and the evidence of progress silences fear. Focus is the antidote to insecurity because it transforms effort into proof. But focus requires sacrifice. You cannot give your full attention to everything. You must decide what truly matters and be willing to let go of what doesn't. This is where most people struggle. They fear missing out, so they say yes to everything, spreading themselves thin until nothing moves forward. But those who focus understand that every yes requires a no. They protect their time, their energy, and their vision because they know that clarity is more powerful than chaos. Sacrifice is not loss, it is investment. By letting go of distractions, you free yourself to pour fully into the work that builds your future. Ask yourself how much of your life has been wasted on things that did not matter. How many hours, days, or even years have slipped away because your focus was stolen by the trivial? And what could you accomplish if you directed your full attention toward the things that align with your highest vision? The answer is simple. You could build a life that feels powerful, purposeful, and unshakable. You could achieve in years what others fail to achieve in a lifetime. Because while most people are scattered, you would be sharp. While most people drift, you would cut forward with intention. Focus is a great amplifier. It turns small actions into big results. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary progress. It separates the average from the unstoppable. And once you master it, you no longer compete with others. You surpass them, because while they are distracted, you are advancing. While they are scattered, you are sharpening. And while they waste time, you are creating a future so strong that no one can ignore it. Focus sharpens your path, but discipline carries you down it. Without discipline, even the clearest vision collapses under the weight of inconsistency. Most people know what they want. Many even know what steps they should take. But few follow through with relentless consistency. They wait for motivation, for the right mood, for the perfect time. And while they wait, days slip into months, and months into years. Discipline does not wait. Discipline acts, regardless of feelings. It is the bridge between intention and reality, between dreams and results. Those who master discipline achieve what others only talk about because they do the work whether or not they feel like it. Psychology reveals that habits shape identity. Every repeated action rewires the brain, carving pathways that either strengthen your resolve or weaken it. Discipline is the conscious choice to build those pathways with intention. Each time you choose action over comfort, you strengthen the identity of someone who follows through. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you can be trusted. Over time, discipline transforms who you are. You stop needing external motivation because you carry internal proof that you are consistent, reliable, and unstoppable. This identity becomes unshakable because it is not built on mood, it is built on evidence. Discipline is also freedom. Most people confuse freedom with doing whatever they want. But real freedom comes from structure, from creating systems that protect your energy and align your actions with your vision. Without discipline, you are enslaved by impulses, dragged in every direction by cravings and distractions. With discipline, you gain control. You choose your actions instead of letting them be chosen for you. This control gives you peace of mind because you know your life is moving forward instead of drifting aimlessly. Discipline may feel restrictive in the moment, but in the long run, it creates the freedom to live the life you truly desire. Discipline also builds resilience. When you train yourself to act despite discomfort, you build strength that others lack. Challenges no longer break you because you are accustomed to moving forward under pressure. Obstacles that stop others become opportunities for you to prove your consistency. While most people collapse at the first sign of difficulty, discipline teaches you to endure, to persist, to keep showing up until results arrive. That persistence creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs that others never experience. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is the quiet power that separates winners from quitters. Ask yourself, how many promises have you broken to yourself? How many times have you given up because the feeling wasn't there? And what would your life look like if you became the kind of person who always follows through, no matter the circumstances? Imagine the pride, the strength, the unshakable confidence that would come from knowing you are unstoppable because you keep moving when others stop. That is what discipline gives you, not just progress but power over yourself. Discipline is the ultimate equalizer. It does not care where you started, what resources you have, or what talent you were born with. It rewards consistency, effort, and grit. And once you embody it, nothing can hold you back for long. Because while others wait for motivation, you act. While others quit, you persist. While others talk, you build. Discipline turns vision into reality. And those who master it will always outsmart, outwork, and outlast the rest.